Hi, and congratulations on completing week 5, Summation of the Law, Love the Lord your God. Now, this week we were to evaluate the purpose and historical context of the Decalogue, the Ten Commandments, versus the Book of the Covenant, which is the apodistic and casuistic or caustic laws that follow. To interpret the biblical text in a modern context, to analyze the relationship between biblical and extra-biblical law codes, and to evaluate the legal material as a major theme in the book of Exodus. So our first assignment, assignment 5.1, was to, trying to get my head out of the, that doesn't work. We'll go over there. You guys are probably saying he's crazy. That's fine. Assignment 5.1 is to explore the Ten Commandments in the context of the Book of the Covenant. So in about 2 pages, and based upon the reading, there was a first hint that you needed to engage with reading as well as the Bible. I wanted you to compare the content, organization, and purpose of the Ten Commandments with the Book of the Covenant. How is the purpose of this material interpreted in the New Testament? And in your conclusion, you were to explain how your findings could be applied in a ministry setting. Now, for me, the kind of core of this assignment for grading is I wanted clear statements about the purpose of each, an outline of what's included in each, and literary structure of how they are being put together. Then I wanted an exploration of the content using examples from the Bible and citations from the reading and outside research. Finally, I wanted to see clear linkages to the New Testament through Christ or Paul and the law as a revelation of sin pointing to Christ. And by that I mean that if we look at what Jesus taught and we look specifically at what Paul says in Romans, as well as some other places, the idea of the Ten Commandments in the Book of the Covenant is not guidelines for holy living. It is a guideline to say that no one is able to meet God's standards. So it's an impossible guideline that we cannot uphold. So no one can say, I earned my way to heaven because I kept the Ten Commandments and I followed the Book of the Covenant. Because no one keeps the Ten Commandments and no one follows the Book of the Covenant. And so that was the key, is what was the goal of these 2 documents in light of the New Testament. And Paul in Romans gives us a great understanding, looking back and saying the Jews got it wrong, that they were trying desperately to keep these and making up excuses for how to, or workarounds when they didn't. But that God is saying that through Christ is the only way that we're able to find Him. Then we had an assignment 5.2, looking at the law code of Hammurabi versus the Book of the Covenant, and you were to analyze the similarities and differences between the law code of Hammurabi and Exodus 21 to 23, and to talk about whether they share a common purpose, which they do not. In part 2, you were to include a paragraph or longer explaining how the 2 codes may share similarities and language. And so for this, I was really looking for examples and discussion of similarities and examples and discussions of differences. I wanted to see that you noted that the Book of the Covenant has a preferential option for the poor, which, by the way, is a theme throughout the whole Bible, while Hammurabi has a preferential option for the rich and the powerful. I wanted to see a discussion of dates, of composition, and an awareness that Hammurabi was written a few hundred years earlier than the time that Moses lived. I wanted a discussion with support on why these similarities likely existed, which there were some great outside research folks that you could have used in your discussion. And a demonstrated awareness that the 2 have a different purpose. So as always, rubrics and due dates are in your course resources. I appreciate all the hard work and all the discussion over the course of the weekend. And I look forward to seeing what we come up with in week 6. We're beginning to enter that last phase of the course where I'm looking for a lot from students. I'm wanting you to show growth. I'm wanting you to be able to kind of strut your talents and show me what you're learning and how you're able to apply these new biblical interpretation methods for a deeper understanding of the Bible. So have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.